says Trump says U.S. won't agree to any uranium enrichment by Iran. Now, how is that negotiation when you're saying you want a new deal? I didn't bring it up on the screen because I want to hurry up and get to your view on this. You're looking for a new deal. Now, the old deal had allowed Iran to enrich according to international law. And you're saying that you want a new deal, a better deal that prohibits Iran, that limits Iran's drone productions, missile production, which has nothing to do with the nuclear sphere of things. And you're saying that you're going to rob Iran of its international rights to enrich uranium, because according to Article 5 of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, it states, and I must add, and I'll bring this up on the screen for people to read real quick. It says that all signatures, indeed, all states have excuse me, this thing is messing up. Hold on one second. All right, here we are. It says, yes, Article 5 of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty does indeed state that all signatory nations have the inalienable right to develop nuclear technology for peaceful applications. This right is explicitly recognized in the treaty, particularly in the context of research, production, and the use of nuclear energy for peaceful purposes. Now, Brian, with that stated, what Trump is demanding is that Iran gives up the right that all other nations have, including the United States, who has thousands of nuclear weapons. And he's saying that this is a negotiation. What is your thoughts on the matter concerning this situation?
I think people should just stop and ask themselves first, who picked the United States to be judge, jury, and executioner regarding the enforcement of any of these treaties? It doesn't say anywhere in the treaty that the U.S. is unilaterally able to enforce it all around the globe, including in Iran. If you look at an actual physical globe, you have to pretty much spin it all the way around to go from the U.S. to Iran. This is none of their business in the first place. There's nothing for the U.S. to be negotiating with Iran in the first place. And all this is an exercise of American hegemony. And the whole purpose of it is to not just preserve American hegemony, its ability to act with impunity around the globe, but specifically prevent Iran from working its way out from under U.S. hegemony, especially in the Middle East. And so there should be no negotiations taking place in the first place because it's none of America's business. Iran is going along with it because they realize realistically the United States is going to try to start a war with Iran, either directly or by proxy, and they need to try to play some sort of diplomatic game to make it look like they were trying to be the reasonable ones. On the other hand, that is exactly why the U.S. is pretending to negotiate with Iran. They want to appear to be the reasonable ones. They also want to give themselves the option of allowing Israel to carry out a U.S.-enabled, directed, almost certainly planned U.S. attack through Israel on Iran, but say, we had nothing to do with that. We were negotiating with Iran. And Israel did this unilaterally, all on their own. We had nothing to do with it. This is what they say in their policy papers. There are no policy papers, past or present, that talk about genuine negotiations between the U.S. and Iran to seek peace. The goal has always been to subjugate Iran, to implement regime change, and using this claim that they're developing nuclear weapons and developing them for the wrong reasons. This is the pretext they want to use to justify the otherwise indefensible encroachment and aggression against Iran.
Well, Iran has already stated, and I was watching on Mir's news agency and on Press TV, that they said that there will be no capitulation to this. They will keep their enrichment rights as enshrined in international law. And then you hear Trump saying that my deal, his deal, as he says, allows for no absolutely no enrichment, and he will never allow Iran to enrich. I mean, how are the pundits that are looking at this, that are pro-Trump or anti-Trump, squaring this with peace?
Oh, exactly. The people that are trying to still promote President Trump as some sort of peace candidate, as some sort of answer to or solution to the so-called deep state, they are in denial. They're trying to rationalize what they see him doing versus what they personally hoped he would do. This is human nature. We've talked about this. It's not to say that these are dumb people or bad people. When you want something good very badly, and you want somebody to do something good, and you believe in them, when they disappoint you, it's very hard for a human being, because of human nature, to admit that you were wrong about this person and that they're not doing what you thought they would do. We have these experiences in our personal lives with people we know, and we also have this when we put our faith into a politician or someone who's any kind of leader or influencer in their field. And President Trump is one of these people that many invested their hopes that he would change things. He obviously isn't. He's picking up right where the Biden administration left off. In fact, a lot of what the Biden administration did was set the stage for whoever came after him to just continue all of this uninterrupted. This is what President Trump did during his first 4 years in office, and that's what he's doing again. The first clue that he was going to betray everything that he said. I would argue that if you just listen carefully to what he was saying while he was campaigning, just that in and of itself was an indication that no, he wasn't going to end any of these wars. Yes, he was going to serve the deep state, these unelected corporate financier interests. But the first major clue was all of the neocon warmongers he handpicked and surrounded himself with. And it has just gone downhill from there. It's very, very predictable. Unfortunately, no matter how predictable or obvious it is, a lot of people are going to try to rationalize what is happening rather than just admit that this is not the person they thought he was.
Told you to walk away. That was my first and last mistake. I'm blue without you.